It's all about when it comes down to these two fine basketball teams. One was ranked number 2 in the state before the tournament, and one was ranked number 3, and now we're set to meet them.
And now, ladies and gentlemen, introducing the coaches and players for this first semifinal game, featuring the Chicago King Jaguars and the Peoria Manual Rams. First, for Chicago King, which enters this game with a record of 30 victories and 1 defeat. Introducing the head coach in his 5th season, Landon Cox. And now the players. Number 12, a 5'10" sophomore, Michael Miller. Number 14, a 5'10" sophomore, Carl Stanley. Number 21, a 6'5" senior, David Weatherall. Number 22, a 6'7" junior, Carl Anderson. Number 24, a 6'5" junior, Anthony Burwell. Number 25, a 5'10" senior, Gerald Morrow. And number 31, a 6'7" junior, Richard Smith. And now let's meet the starting lineup for the Jaguars of King High School. At 1 forward, a 6'7" senior, number 20, Lavertus Robinson.
Robinson with 25 in the quarterfinals. Terribly impressive game.
At the other forward, a 6'8" junior, number 30, Marcus Liberty.
First team parade All-American, averaging 26.6.
At center, a 6'8" senior, 32, Kevin Williams.
Averages 11 points and a 70% field goal shooter.
At one of the guards, a 6'2" junior, number 11, Emmett Lynch.
With 10 points and 6 assists yesterday.
And at the other guard, a 5'10" senior, number 10, Reggie King.
He averages 10 and makes them go.
Those are the Jaguars of King High School. And now, introducing the Rams of Peoria Manual High School, who enter this game with a record of 30 victories and 1 defeat. First, introducing the head coach in his 20th season, Dick Van Stuyck. And now the players. Number 10, a 5'9" freshman, Ricky Morgan. Number 22, a 5'8" senior, Glenn Washington. Number 30, a 6'3" sophomore, David Booth. Number 34, a 6'2" junior, Sidney Smith. Make that Sidney Jones. Number 44, a 6'2" senior, Sean Wright. Number 50, a 6'3" junior, Anthony Lobdell. And number 52, a 6-foot freshman, Damon Hendricks. And now the starting lineup for the Rams of Manual High School. At 1 forward, a 6'3" senior, number 40, Jameer Jackson.
This is the tournament's leading scorer with 47 points in the 2 games.
At the other forward, a 6'2" senior, 42, Frederick Lee.
Lee averaging 10.5 per contest.
At center, a 6'2" junior, number 24, Sean Williams.
Williams averaging 12 points per game.
At one guard, a 5'11" junior, number 32, Curtis Stuckey.
Averaging 14.5, 8 out of 8 at the foul line yesterday.
And at the other guard, a 6'1" sophomore, number 20, Lynn Collins.
With 7 assists in the quarterfinals.
Those are the Rams of Manual High School. And now the officials, Tom Kleinschmidt of Chicago and Bill Laudy of Frankfurt.
That's it. Peoria Manual Rams and the Jaguars of King coming up. One of your network sponsors is Country Conference of the Chicago Public League, the Public League champions. Peoria Manual, the champions of the Mid-State 10 in Peoria County. The matchups. Robinson and Liberty at the forwards for King. Williams in the middle, Lynch and King at the guards. Jackson and Lee the forwards. Williams at center. Stuckey and Collins the guards. The Jaguars, the big team in black. Manual in white, trimmed in orange, will be the much smaller team. And we'll see how the matchup goes with Reginald King, who starts with the ball. Manual plays man-to-man. That's Marcus Liberty, 30. Some people regard him as the best junior in America. Lavertus Robinson. Reggie King dances the ball inside for the layup. It's Kevin Williams charging. Emmett Lynch to the goal.
I think Manuel's got to do a little bit of this. King does like to go hard to the hoop, and they have to position themselves to pick up charges like this.
Now Chicago King extends full court pressure on the zone, 2-2-1 against the Rams. Collins goes by a man on the right and stops. It's Fred Lee. Jameer Jackson's been Manuel's big gun in the 2 tournament games. Fred Lee's shot, not there. Kevin Williams speared it in a hurry. Lavertus Robinson, 10-footer. Manuel has the rebound. And they up-tempo the game. The Rams in white. Stuckey is in one corner, Jackson the other. This is Jameer Jackson for the Duke.
Well, that's how he ended yesterday. He's a great leader for him, and it's nice to see him get on the board early.
26 in the Super, 21 in the quarterfinal game yesterday. High lob to the goal, blocked by Robinson. A Skywalker.
That was almost offensive goaltending because the lob was right up above the cylinder.
King with a steal, and Reggie King missed, but Marcus Liberty didn't. And just in the wink of an eye, Chicago King leads 4-2.
I think an interesting thing on this press is how Lynn Collins is going to handle the pressure because he's only a sophomore.
Fred Lee rings the bell on the right wing, and Manuel ties the game at 4. And these teams have come out of the box with some intensity today.
Well, Jameer Jackson was their main scorer yesterday, and he's got to get some help from the other players. We've heard that they all score well, and I think that last jumper was an indication.
Emmett Lynch comes to the right and goes to Lavertus Robinson. Quick first step off the board. Rebound battle. Kevin Williams. Lavertus Robinson for 2.
Well, that's what they do well. They lob it in, get those easy shots, and then get the other big men following.
They've got 2 offensive rebounds already, Frank.
Well, maybe they'll get out-rebounded, and maybe Lake Michigan will dry up. Inside, Fred Lee. Oh, batted away by King. On the other end, Lynch. Here he comes. He's got it.
Great body control going for the hoop.
8-4, Chicago King, and Manuel is fouled in the front court. Looks like Reggie King picked up the foul, as the game is a 94-foot one right now.
Well, there was a great pass against King's press. I thought it was an automatic layup, and I think it was Marcus Liberty came out of nowhere to block the shot.
Yeah, it was Liberty. And there's Lynch with the body control.
Back to live action. Manuel has Curtis Stuckey on the right. He was only 2 for 10 yesterday, but he's a much better shooter than that. 5-15 in the first, and King leads by 4.
King is playing their normal defense, a 2-3 zone.
Stuckey.
That's the shooter you were telling me about, right, Frank?
He can do it. 8-6. And King has no trouble yet with Manuel's pressure.
Right now, it's kind of token pressure.
Reggie King calls out a play. They set Lavertus Robinson low on one side. Kevin Williams the other. Marcus Liberty rattled out. Nice offensive goal by Kevin Williams.
Manuel has got to position themselves and try to push the King players back a little bit.
Here's a near steal by King, and Jackson gets it up ahead to Shun Williams. Fakes right and goes. Shot is not off. Williams didn't take his normal shot there. Jackson does. Jameer Jackson with a rhythm jumper, and Manuel gets within 2.
Well, they're shooting with a lot of confidence from pretty far out right now.
So it's Manuel shooting on the outside. King has been able to go to the glass. Marcus Liberty at 6'8" on a wing right. Here's a low block pass intended for Robinson, out of bounds to Peoria Manuel.
Frank, right now, Sonny Cox is going to let Peoria Manuel take those outside shots. As any coach knows, you want to let him shoot from the outside, take the percentage, but Peoria Manuel's drilling him.
4 minutes to play in the opening quarter. Frank Bissoni along with Jim Albrecht and Coach Bill Geis at the Assembly Hall, and Manuel throws it away. Collins intended for Shun Williams. And the turnover goes to King. They're watching from coast to coast. Bob and Laverne Sidori in Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania are watching. That's the parents of trainer Dan Sidori of the Peoria Public Schools. They're watching in Carlsbad, California. Dr. Alberton and Shar, sister of Chuck Westendorf of the Manuel bench. So we've got viewers all over, and they'll enjoy this one in the semifinals. Lavertus Robinson. Is he a smooth operator?
Well, he's so tough close to the basket like that. Right now they're playing behind him with the idea, let him get the ball and try to make him shoot from a little bit farther out, but so far it isn't working real well.
Fred Lee ball fakes, and Manuel sets up the offense. Shun Williams is on the inside. Jackson's on the right wing down in that corner. They're aware of his shooting. He's taken a couple from way out there, about 20 feet in the game. Clock at 3:12, first quarter. Stuckey loads up, goes around his man for a pop. It's down.
Well, that's a nice shot because they're shooting over somebody with 6'8" with a hand up. That's a tough shot.
That's 2 for 2 today after 2 for 10 yesterday for Stuckey. And at the 3-minute mark, King leads by a pair. Reggie King, so quick. Holds high and lobs inside. Watch Lavertus Robinson.
That was great defense. He just readjusted his shot, hung in the air a little bit more, and drilled it.
6'7", 210. Lavertus Robinson. He's the 4th leading scorer in the tournament. Manuel has the ball. Fred Lee to Stuckey. Stuckey goes across the lane to Jackson. Shun Williams adjusts. Stuckey again. 3 in a row. 14-12 King, and Curtis Stuckey has come out of the blocks with the fingers on fire.
He was 2 for 10 yesterday. I think he wants to make up for that.
Reggie King, number 10, for the Jaguars in black with the gold trim, the Public League champions. Lavertus again, Mr. Robinson, if you will.
Yeah, see, right now, I can't, what can you do against that? They lob the ball up. You don't have the size to go after it, and he just turns, takes a nice, easy shot.
He has 10 points in the first quarter, and King leads 16-12. 10 for Lavertus Robinson.
See, they're packing it in right now, and it's hard to stop that lob because of their Manuel size. What they may try to do later is pull out a little bit, put a little more pressure on the passer, make that a tougher pass inside.
Jameer Jackson, left wing, bang.
Well, if you keep doing that, it might not make any difference what King does at the other end.
You got to remember, Frank, this is the morning. How can you shoot like this in the morning?
Somebody got up early. 6 points for Jameer Jackson. 2-point game again at 120. And it's everything it was advertised to be. Here's Lavertus Robinson. They double team him and foul him. You got to try something different. And Lavertus Robinson is fouled by Jackson.
Lynn Collins did a nice job that time of sinking and stripping the ball, but the foul was called before he got a chance to do that. There's a foul, I believe, right there on the swipe. Lynn Collins came in and had it clean, but he was fouled before that.
Lavertus Robinson goes 6'7". Kevin Williams and Marcus Liberty 6'8" each across that front line.
Coach Tony Yates of Cincinnati was here yesterday, Frank, watching that man right there who will be playing for his Bearcats.
He's got to be all smiles. Robinson averages 23 points and 14 rebounds a game, and he's already put home 11 in the opening period.
I think the game plan is to go into Robinson until they stop him and then get other people involved, if they can stop him.
He's got it down And now a whistle and a timeout on the court. 1:13 to play in the first period, and King is in the lead. One of your network sponsors is John Deere. In the first quarter, the Peoria Manual Rams, who have shot the lights out of the Assembly Hall, are down by 4 points because Chicago King has been able to go inside to Lavertus Robinson, and Dick Van Sciak has had to try to come up with an answer for that.
I'm glad I'm not in his, well, I'd like to be in his shoes, but I don't know what his decision's going to be here. Right now it's the power game against an outside shooting game, and the power game is winning at the current time.
Fred Lee comes into some traffic, kicks it over to Stuckey. Collins, with a lot of poise as a sophomore, punches it into Shun Williams. He's rejected. Collins gets it back. Left-hander off the board, no good. And Kevin Williams rebounds. It's 3-on-1 King. Marcus Liberty on the glide.
Nice move to the basket by Marcus, even though he did have a man open on the wing.
Well, Chicago King might not have played with intensity yesterday, but not today. Shun Williams with the move is stripped. King the other way, 3-on-1 again. Emmett Lynch has a layup, and he missed it, but Kevin Williams followed it in, and all of a sudden King has blown to an 8-point lead. They are so explosive.
Well, they've got such quick hands, and they are very active right now on their defense.
Fred Lee, pull-up jumper is right there. Threw it up to the ceiling, and it came right down through.
That was a great shot because he had to adjust the arc because of the defense that time.
8 seconds. King will go for one shot. 5. Reggie King doesn't look like he knows how much time. Emmett Lynch does. Missed. Rebound Emanuel at the end of the quarter. With the score, Chicago King 22 and Peoria Manual 16. One of your network sponsors is the American Dairy Association of Illinois. I've seen this year is that this is a better game and the teams are shooting better.
Yeah, King's got bigger kids than college teams.
Incredible. There's Sonny Cox. He doesn't look entirely cheerful, even though he's ahead by 6.
You don't see Sonny smile too often.
Now King sets up in a zone.
King looks like a little 1-2-2 zone. It's a little different.
In the corner, Curtis Stuckey has the ball. They cover him up quickly, and a whistle. And a foul on Manuel away from the ball. Looked like it went against Fred Lee. So Peoria Manual starts the second quarter with an offensive foul. And they apply full court pressure now to King, trying to create a turnover. Reggie King brings the Jaguars into the front court. It seems they've scored almost every time down the floor. They've got David Weatherall, 21 in the game, and Reggie King lets it go.
Well, if they do, Manuel sinks inside to try to take those lobs away in the power game, and then you have Reggie King hit an outside shot like that. King is playing very, very well right now.
And they're just hitting their shots one after the other. This is Sean Wright in the game for the Rams. He's in for Shun Williams. In the middle it goes. Lee, turn around off the board, missed. He tapped it up once. No. This time it's King. Manuel had an easy shot in there and missed it.
And they had a good second shot. You got to hit those because you're not going to get too many of them.
Lavertus Robinson, little shake and bake move outside to King for another deuce.
Well, if you're Peoria Manual right now, you just got to hope they cool off, because if they don't, there's no way King's going to lose.
Well, the only way to beat them now is to block all the major routes into the city. A 10-point lead for King, and Manuel hasn't played badly.
You know, in all seriousness, too, you wonder if King can continue to play this well, because they're hitting outside shots, inside shots.
Manuel's 8 of 12 in the first quarter, 67%. King 10 of 17, 59. The only 2 free throws for King. The rebound 7-4 King, and Manuel's made one more turnover. The Rams get the ball down and travel and turn the ball over for the second time in the period, and all of a sudden Chicago Kings Jaguars with a 10-point lead have the ball.
There's a good pass inside that time. The player just shuffled his feet before he took the shot.
Robinson comes back to help against Manuel's pressure.
Well, there are a lot of confident looks on the King players' faces, aren't there?
That's indeed true. Weatherall, who won the game yesterday at the buzzer, gives to Marcus Liberty, and he drilled it.
Everything they're doing right now is right.
They've built their lead to a dozen. Manuel in trouble, has to call timeout.
Good timeout too,
6:19 to play in the opening half, and Chicago King is on a roll. One of your network sponsors is ME4. 3 sophomore, listed at 6'3", looks much taller than that. Going into the lineup against Chicago King. 6:14 to play in the opening half, and King leads by 12. Manuel needs a hoop this time down. They throw it away.
The King has gone to the 1-2-2, and it looks like they're trapping in the corners just to give Manuel a different look. And they're trapping with such tall people, it really makes it tough for Manuel.
The Jaguars have Reggie King punch the ball inside now to Levertus Robinson. He dropped it, but Manuel touched it last off Sean Wright. Sean Williams will return to the Ram lineup, and Sean Wright goes out. It's not unusual for Manuel to play 8 players or so. Liberty turns, swirls, fires, and missed. Nice rebound by Jameer Jackson, and he was fouled. Jackson went hard to the defensive board, and David Weatherall picked up the personal, 21.
There's a shot being taken. Nice strong rebound. Here's where the foul occurred. After he had the rebound, he tried to swipe at it. I think Coach Van Syk is trying to get his tallest team in the lineup. At least it looks that way.
Manuel hasn't scored in the second quarter, and Curtis Stuckey is on one wing, Jackson the other. Those are their 2 principal scorers. There's Jameer Jackson outside. He missed. Levertus Robinson taps the rebound. Sean Williams put it up with the left hand. David Booth taps at it. It's loose on the floor, and the quick hands of Reggie King comes out with it. Here comes Marcus Liberty. Down the lane, finger roll, rebounded by Booth, chopped out of his hands, picked up by Lynch. Lynch again. Lynch bounces. Again, it's Liberty and a foul. And the Jaguars working the boards.
It's an incredible display of offensive rebounding. They're all in there and jumping, and of course they're so big and they're such great leapers. Manuel really can't do too much about it. This will be a great replay. Just watch.
That's just the end of it right there, with Liberty getting the foul on the arm. Looks like ping pong up there.
Lynn Collins got the foul. Here's the pass indoors to David Weatherall, and he slipped in for the 14-point Chicago King advantage, and Peoria Manuel needs the basket. Lynn Collins pulls up with a jump shot. No good. Not Manuel's game. And King runs the other way. Levertus Robinson on the fly.
Oh, gosh. What a move to the hoop.
Man set up in front of him for the charge. Most people would have charged, but he just changed his body in midstream.
Right, he changed directions when he was up in the air.
Manuel had to call timeout again. 4:36 in the first half. It's all King. One of your network sponsors is John Doc said I think we'll be all right before the game. He knew what he was talking about. Look at Levertus Robinson.
Isn't that a great move?
The 1986 Medical Society names Team Physician Award winners, and this year's are Dr. Hugo Avalos of Morris, Dr. William Gilligan, Dr. David Hora, Dr. Albert Maurer, and Dr. Elrin Roki. Congratulations, doctors. Manuel misses their shot, and the Chicago King Jaguars still have the ball, and Manuel still hasn't scored in the second quarter at the Assembly Hall. After shooting very well in the first quarter, it's been all King, 10-0 in the second period.
I was just going to mention that. The shots aren't dropping this quarter like they were the first, and they've really fallen way behind.
Marcus Liberty's home free at 6'8". He turned around and snapped it off the window. It's 34-16 at the 4-minute mark of the first half. Glenn Washington in the game for Manuel is trapped in the backcourt, gets it to Curtis Stuckey. He's going to have to get some shots. Washington skip pass over the zone. Oh, look at the quickness of Reggie King. He's going to go all the way. He's all alone for an easy layup.
See, the size of the King players are just giving Peoria trouble, because that pass was telegraphed, but I really don't think he saw the King player.
Stuckey's going to shoot from the right side. That's not good. Look at the rebound, once by Manuel. Here's a second time. It's Sean Williams, and he was held by David Weatherall.
I'll say this, Manuel certainly hasn't quit. They're working very hard, and their coach is doing a lot of things on the bench. He's putting in new players. He's trying to find a combination that can work, that can try to slow down this King team.
Dick Van Syk has won 615 basketball games in 37 years, 332 of them at Manuel. So he's seen a lot of things happen. But he has not had many teams play like King has played against Manuel in this first half.
Well, Manuel's a great club. They had to play 4 rated opponents just to get here this afternoon. So what King is doing is kind of unbelievable.
Sean Williams missed the free throw. Stuckey goes out for Manuel. And now the Rams are back on defense again. This is Glenn Washington, 22, trying to guard King. Marcus Liberty's free inside, baseline, bad angle, shot it up. Lavertus Robinson puts it back the other way. Whoa! Marcus Liberty came to try to dunk the tip and got the foul.
This is just an indication of how hard King is hitting the offensive boards. Now, foul was called there, but, you know, King isn't letting up. They're really hitting the boards hard.
Well, not only is King tall, but they're quick, Coach. I mean, they can take that step around the block, and that's what makes them doubly tough.
See, this is a different team than we saw yesterday.
They were standing around a lot yesterday.
Yes, they were. Yes, they were. And now they're just very aggressive, and they're really into it. I don't know what, whether it was the night's sleep or what, or whether Coach Cox said something to them, but they've really come to play.
First point this quarter by the Rams, scored by Frederick Lee. And missed that one. But Jameer Jackson rebounds, acrobatic, hangs in the air, and he was fouled. Good offensive work by Jameer Jackson.
See, it seems like they get a shot somewhere around the paint, and they wind up having to alter the shot because of the size of King. Here's a good example. He doesn't go up strong. He's got to go way off to the side. Now, he's really fortunate he drew the foul, because I don't know if he really had a good chance of that shot going in.
Foul was on Robinson, his first. This is Jameer Jackson. Top 8% of his class at Peoria Manual. Missed the free throw.
When things go bad, they go bad.
He has 6 points in the game. And I'll put that one down. Manual down by 18 at 36-18. And King has played up a storm. They deserve their big lead. 3 minutes to go, first half. Manual's got a real mountain to climb, and Glenn Washington fouls Reggie King.
When Glenn Washington came in the game, I think the idea was that Coach Van Sciak wanted him to guard Reggie King, a little bit tougher bringing the ball up. We talked a little bit about that, bringing their defense out, and I think that's exactly what's happening here.
Kevin Williams comes out to help, but the Jaguars look poised and intense both today. Emmett Lynch in the deep corner. King runs their offense. Here's Kevin Williams at the foul line. He jabbed it in, a line drive.
Well, I think that's a good indication that things aren't going right for King, because I don't know if he really should put a shot like that down.
Manuel breaks the press. Booth gets it over to Shun Williams, who's got an easy layup.
Nice passing. I think that's to beat their press, I think you should do as little dribbling as possible and try to pass it up.
The sophomore David Booth through to junior Shun Williams for that too. Liberty handles the ball in the front court.
King's going to their delay game, I think, Frank.
King pulls it out at 38-20 and 2:07 on the clock, and Marcus Liberty slips the ball between his legs. It's 6-8. Robinson, now Lynch goes all the way in. Gets the ball to Williams, whistle, no goal. 3-second violation on Kevin Williams. And Manuel will get the ball back.
Sonny Cox reacting as if he's down by 1 instead of up by 18 on that call.
Well, it is a long game. We got another half to go, and he knows that.
1:51 to play here in the first half. The Manual bench yells, move the ball. Washington does to Jameer Jackson, who's got a pop from the corner. Hanging up there, not good. Booth tips at it, but King wins it. Lynch sees Kevin Williams ahead. Kevin couldn't catch it, but it's out of bounds to King. Last touch by Shun Williams.
Williams tangled up in the cameras down there, but it looks like he's going to be okay.
Kevin Williams got up in sections, but he's all right. And David Weatherall checks into the game, a 6'5" senior. All he did yesterday was hit a shot with 5 seconds that won the game. 64-62 over Evanston, and the Wildcats played very well here. Lavertus Robinson turns. Great block by David Booth. Brilliant play by the sophomore.
That's about the only way you're going to get Robinson from behind, it would appear, when he puts that ball behind his head.
Well, this is what I mean about the different defensive strategy here. They just collapsed on him. Of course, the bigger man has a chance to block that shot. That's a great play.
145-pound sophomore just went up and really made a defensive play. And there's Lynn Collins into the game. Collins checking Reggie King. 125. King up by 18 big ones. Manuel has only scored 4 points in the second quarter. Here's a Near steal by Shun Williams, and it does turn into a turnover as the traveling is called on King. And this looks like Levertus Robinson's hurt a bit.
Well, the way he went down, his foot kind of skipped, and that can really hurt your lower back.
There it is, the slip.
Yeah.
Good look at it on the camera.
You know, it was kind of interesting. He had the presence of mind to know he was going to walk. He tried to shuffle the ball off before the official called it.
Fred Lee's open in the corner and got it. Nice looking jump shot by Fred Lee.
That's first quarter shooting.
Lee with his third goal. Up ahead with 57 seconds. Levertus Robinson jammed the ball into Weatherall. Manuel picked it off. Nicely done. The Rams are on the hunt. Collins is fouled on the move. David Weatherall got him, and Manuel made a good transition game under the whip of Lynn Collins that time.
That wasn't a bad pass. Weatherall, it was just thrown so hard, so close that Weatherall couldn't get the hands on it.
That was not walking either. The player was down on the ground, but he didn't move his legs, and that's why I was able to pass it out without a violation.
That was Fred Lee that made that good play.
I think the officials are earning their money this game. What do you think? They're doing a lot of running. They're racing up and down the court just like the players are.
King gets Richard Smith, a 6'7" junior, into the game there. He's 202 at 16 years old, and they keep bringing him in, and their bench has 6'7", 6'7", 6'8", and 2 6'5s.
Well, Levertus Robinson is the one who came out, and he was limping a little bit, so that obviously would hurt the whole King team, but as we said, when his foot skipped on him, and he might have hurt his lower back, and that's a very painful injury.
There's Robinson on the bench as Collins drills a pair of free throws to pull Manuel back within 14. They were 20 down. Liberty in backcourt. Manuel presses with David Booth. 42 seconds, first half. Let's see if King goes for one shot. Reggie swirls in the front. They're banging each other pretty good right now on both ends.
Well, King's used to that playing in the city, I'll tell you that. That's not going to bother him.
Under a half a minute. Reggie King goes by 2 men, and it's a spread offense for the Jaguars now. This is Marcus Liberty at 6'8". On the outside. 15 seconds. Reggie King splits the middle for the layup.
Great move to the basket. Nice soft touch.
The 40th point for King, 7 seconds. Manuel will get a shot. Collins with 4, 3, or will they? A whistle and a foul on Lynn Collins, and that's a bad break for the Rams because that'll give the second foul on Collins, and with 1 second, King will have a chance to add to their lead.
That's a frustration foul and kind of a sophomore mistake.
Marcus Liberty, 78% foul shooter, goes to the free throw line, and when you see him shoot, you can tell he's got that nice rotation on the ball. He missed that one, and that's the end of the first half of play at the Assembly Hall, where the impressive Chicago King Jaguars are in the lead over Peoria Manual, 40-24.
One of your Fertilome book, Help on Your Lawn and Garden. And don't forget, Coy's is your headquarters for Fertilome products for your lawn and garden. Also 12-12-12 fertilizer. Coy's Garden Center, 5th and North Grand for all your lawn and garden needs.
Only 4 teams are left in Class AA in Illinois, and the Chicago King Jaguars have marched through the first half like they want to be one of the final 2. They lead the Peoria Manual Rams 40-24 like this. Levertus Robinson, who had a slight injury toward the end of the half, 14 first half points. Marcus Liberty, 8. Reggie King, the point guard, with 8. Kevin Williams, 6. Lynch, the off guard, with 2. Weatherall off the bench with 2. The only player in foul trouble is Weatherall with 3. Lynch has 2. So it's Levertus Robinson, Liberty, and King dominating the scoring for the Jaguars. But we have to watch Levertus Robinson's injury. For Peoria Manual, Jameer Jackson, their leader, with 7, along with Fred Lee, the other forward. Curtis Stuckey hit 3 jump shots in a row and didn't stop shooting, or didn't get shots. Williams had a pair. Lynn Collins, 2 points and 2 fouls. Glenn Washington off the bench, didn't score, committed a foul. No Ram in foul trouble. Collins, the only player, with 2. You said earlier in this tournament that Peoria Manual had not been out-rebounded all year long, and they hadn't in 31 games. Today they're being out-rebounded. It's quite clear. We don't have the exact numbers yet, and we'll get them for you in a moment. But I think that's part of the fact that Tim's hooked him.
It seems like you think you got King pegged as far as what they're going to do, and then they pull something a little bit different. Here's just a backdoor cut to Marcus Liberty, and he just puts it up there nice and high. And again, there's very little you can do about it.
Here's Liberty again inside. This is Kevin Williams. He turns around and puts it off the board.
Well, he's really playing a much better game from yesterday also. That's a nice power move to the hoop. 8
points for Kevin Williams. Kings got its 18-point advantage back at 44 to 26. Jameer Jackson brings it down, stops and drills it up there. Not good, and the tip out rebound. King fills up the lanes, running 3-on-2. Reggie King to Lynch, who is blocked, and he got his own rebound back.
Very good persistence. First shot was blocked, and he followed it in nice.
The tip rebound by Liberty started all that.
That's a very intelligent play because he couldn't grab it himself, and he just tipped it out of there.
Manuel's got to try to find some fire. Jameer Jackson fakes, doesn't. Collins at the point. Stuckey, right corner. Marcus Liberty comes out.
This is a very difficult team to come back against because they're packing it in with that 2-3 zone. They have the 3 big guys in there, and they're making you shoot from out. A very difficult task for Peoria.
Stuckey tried to go in. Liberty stripped him. 3-on-1. Liberty with a beautiful pass on the wing to the driving Lavertus Robinson, and that is poetry in motion.
That's a little showtime.
The pass started the showtime.
That makes it 48 to 26. The Chicago King is putting on a display for the Assembly Hall and the television audience.
We coaches talk to kids about having fun all the time, and I'll tell you, King is having a lot of fun right now.
Nice move by Fred Lee for Manuel. Got it down, and it's going to count, and he'll go to the free throw line. Lynn Collins is going to go out for the Rams, and Glenn Washington back in. Take a look at Marcus Liberty. Watch this dish. Hello.
There's the first little piece of showtime, and then that's a great move on offense. Double clutched it.
If you're in a semifinal game, you want this to happen, Frank, if you're Chicago King, because you can rest some people now for tonight. And plus, they play the first game instead of the second game, so whoever comes out of that second game this afternoon will be at a disadvantage, especially if they're in a tight one.
They're at a disadvantage if they're watching. Reggie King in the backcourt, 48-29. 5:40 in the third quarter. King comes across the circles, lob again to Liberty. He reverses it and missed, but a slam dunk. Lavertus Robinson rebound.
See, this is so discouraging for Manuel. King made a nice pass. They get an easy shot, but they miss it, which gives you life. And then somebody comes in and dunk tips it.
20 points for Lavertus Robinson. The Rams hold on to the ball down on their end, and the Ram players look a little down, as you might expect them to be. 50 to 29.
Robinson just explodes. He explodes.
This demoralizes you. Watch this.
This is a relatively easy shot, and comes in and dunks it. See, mentally, that's very tough on Manuel.
Curtis Stuckey got the goal back for the Rams. They're still 19 behind. Still a lot of time in the game, but King would have to go awfully cold. And on the other hand, the Rams would have to hit 6 or 7 shots in a row, and a foul on the move by Glenn Washington. Peoria Manual lost only 1 game this season. That was the first game they played, 56-54 to Chicago Weber. Then they revenged that by beating Weber by 20, later 73-53. But this is a different story. The Rams have the ball now. Curtis Stuckey is stripped. Emmett Lynch gets it over to Marcus Liberty. A little stop at the line. Fred Lee is fouled. Good board work by Lee, and you can see his disgust at the whole game by popping the ball down on the floor.
I don't know if Coach Cox was real happy with the last couple plays here. They threw a kind of a wild pass on the inbounds play, and then Marcus Liberty, I thought, could have given the ball up for an easier shot on the fast break.
King's philosophy is we'll play our game, and then if you can beat that, so be it. Stuckey right side. Skip past Jameer Jackson. He's open.
That was good ball movement that time. Reversing the ball, getting it to the weak side of the court for the open jumper.
Jackson and Stuckey shooting well for Manuel today, but King has just been an explosive machine. That's Weatherall, 21 in the game. They play that high-low post. You cover one, they drop it down to the other, like that. Levertis Robinson and the whistle.
That was an excellent pass. I think there was a 3-second violation, but that was an excellent pass by Marcus Liberty inside.
You'd like to try to deny the ball if you're on defense to that high post, and then they have the other guy down low on the low block. Shun Williams kicks it to Fred Lee. Ball fake. Washington drops it down to Williams. Did he walk? No goal.
So that was a good pass inside, but I think the size of King intimidated the shooter, created the turnover.
That's one of the things King does very well, and they call for a timeout at 3:57 to go in the third. King in the lead, and one of your network sponsors, the American Dairy Association of Illinois. Sonny Cox has been at King. The record is 130-17. This year's mark, 30-1. 3:55 to play, third quarter. Frank Bissoni along with Jim Albright and Coach Bill Geist at the Assembly Hall, where King with the ball in the lead. Levertis Robinson, stutter, step, and go. It fell home. Robinson putting on a 22-point exhibition here. Here's Jackson cutting across the lane, slices down, a nice finger roll, Jameer Jackson. He's a player.
Great shot because he had to shoot it over a couple of big players in there. They're going for the block.
Manuel tries to double team the ball. That lets Emmett Lynch free. He goes all the way in, stops and walks.
Yeah, he just slipped. Slipped, that's all.
He had the right idea, though. He came down, and on the fast break, he was under control. Just wanted to take the little jumper. There might have been a wet spot on the floor or something.
52-35 King, but there's 3:18 left to play in the third quarter. Manuel would like to cut into this lead now.
Well, Frank, we've been talking about the game isn't over, and it really isn't, because we do have almost a quarter and a half. But
Stuckey missed inside, but a nice rebound by Shun Williams.
Good follow there. But I think what's important to make a comeback, you got to think you can make a comeback. You got to think you can win. And I don't know if Manuel feels that way mentally right now, because every time they do something right, it seems like King comes up with a fantastic play to really keep him down.
Robinson in the backcourt, under 3 minutes, third quarter. King by 15. They led by 20. Actually, by 22, I believe, was their biggest lead. Liberty roams the baseline. There's the lob inside, up and down, and the foul. Levertis Robinson fouled by Shun Williams.
Shun Williams had the right idea. He had the hand up, and he would have had a nice block, but Robinson did a smart thing by bringing the ball back, and Shun Williams made the mistake of fouling down right there, and he fouled him. He should have just kept his hand straight up in the air.
That's because even for a Levertis Robinson, that's an awfully difficult shot, falling back with the ball falling the other way.
I'll say. I'm not saying it wouldn't go in, but it's a difficult shot.
Robinson missed the free throw. 2:40 in the third.
Doesn't seem to be showing any effects of that injury that he had at the quarter. Although I think if there is a problem with that, it might be after the game when he settles down and cools off a little bit.
He made that free throw, and it's a 53-37 game for the Jaguars. They are prowling today. It's a 1-2-2 King zone. Manuel punches it in the middle to Fred Lee. He turns, got away from his man. Liberty, nicely done by Fred Lee.
That was a nice move.
Manuel's climbed back within 14 now. They'd like to get it around to the 10 mark at the quarter if they could. 2:13 in the third quarter. King spreads the floor.
It seems like with 2 minutes to go in a quarter, this is almost automatic for King. They like to go into this little delay game. Although they are still looking to score.
There's 5 seconds. Call, and the possession goes over to Peoria Manuel. And the Rams have just under 2 minutes to take another bite out of the lead.
Sonny Cox hangs his head and shakes it for about 10 seconds after that play. He takes everything to heart. All coaches do, don't they?
You have to. King's back in their 2-3 zone, I think. Now.
Manuel puts up a double low stack, and they break Jackson one side, and they go inside to Shun Williams. He drops it down to Fred Lee, and he's hammered.
Peoria's passing the ball very well now, and they're getting it inside, and they're using some nice shot fakes to get the King players in the air.
Well, the King players look like they're on trampolines here. Look.
It's a great pass down. Very obvious foul. Probably a smart foul.
Fred Lee had banged really hard, as you see Reggie King over talking to his coach.
When you play
Weather
King,
all out.
when you play King, you don't get anything easy.
That has been proven beyond a shadow of a doubt. Fred Lee bends the knees and drills it home. It's 53-40. Lee with 15 in the game. Fred Lee's had a big game.
Now I think this last minute and 44, this quarter could be the key to the game, because I missed the free throw.
Free throw is missed off Kevin Williams, and Manuel got the break to hit the ball.
See, it's 13 now. They could cut it down. They're on a little bit of a roll.
A basket is real momentum for the Rams. Glenn Washington's outside. That's Jameer Jackson. He's their shooter. Not that time.
That's the man you wanted to take the shot. It just didn't go down.
A minute and a half to play in the third quarter. Manuel's made a little run at King here. Reggie King slices through the crowd.
He does that so well. He's really tough to guard one-on-one. And then if you slide off and help, he dumps the ball to the big man inside. That's really an effective play for King.
He's so good with the ball in traffic. Bounce passes high post. Fred Lee, he starts operating inside. He had it swatted away in midair. King gets it back. They fill up the lanes on the break. They lob it to the Marcus Liberty. A monster dunk.
What a great pass, though. Right on the money.
Oh, man. Listen to the crowd buzz. Jackson split leg jump shot.
Boy, what a great player Jameer Jackson is. He answers that with a great shot of his own.
13 for Jackson at the 42nd mark. They break Liberty the other way, and Lee took it away from him. Manuel's got a chance with 35 seconds to get a shot. Glenn Washington pulls up and drills it. It's a 13-point game with a half a minute in the third, and the Rams are alive.
They sure didn't let that dunk bother them.
Steal by Stuckey, foul on King. And Manuel shows some resiliency at the Assembly Hall.
King has gotten so used to throwing that ball in right at the free throw line to break the pressure and to get the ball in that they kind of nonchalanted it, and Stuckey took it away.
Curtis Stuckey made the fine steal. Manuel will take the ball out of bounds. There's 20 seconds to go. Let's see if they go for one shot. They're down by 13 points. That's what Dick Van Sciak wants. 2-1-2 set for the Jaguars, and they're out on the floor a ways, about 20 feet. 8, 7, 6. Do they know how much time? 4, 3. Frederick Lee. Here it comes. It rolls off. No good. At the end of the third quarter, the score is now Chicago King 57. Manuel coming back 44. One of your network sponsors is John Deere. On the hunt, and you'll see a jam against the Rams right here. Watch Marcus Liberty.
He's up there about 11.5 feet, isn't he?
And again, a great pass by Reggie King. There's the steal by Stuckey on a nice play for the Rams.
See, the reason there was no free throws on that particular play there was that there's no bonus situation. The official ruled he was not shooting, so that's why the ball went out of bounds.
All right, the Rams with the basketball. That's Glenn Washington facing the zone that's still well out on the court for the Jaguars. They kick it inside as Curtis Stuckey up and down, missed the layup, point blank, and it's out of bounds to King.
I think that looked like an easy layup, Frank, but there were actually four hands around there, but he should have stuck it down.
Well, when you've had as many block shots as King has had this game, any shot inside is a tough one.
There's some good ball handling by the Jaguars. And Manuel plays man-to-man. King swirls into the lane, throws it away. Tried to get over to Kevin Williams. After 3 quarters, King shooting 49% on 27 of 55. Look how many more shots. 18. Manuel shooting 51%, each 60 at the foul line. Rebounding all King, 24-14. Manuel's got 2 more turnovers, 11-9. Down low, Fred Lee. Oh, he missed it. Tip up and in by Sean Williams.
For some reason, there's some holes in that King defense. I don't know, maybe they're going back to the type of defense they played yesterday. The hands are going down, but Peoria has not given up.
They're within 11, the Rams, with 7:05 to play. This is a big stop, and the Rams make it. And now Jameer Jackson comes up, and Manuel could get inside 10 points.
Reggie King made a very infrequent mistake there. He dribbled into traffic.
Stuckey's on the left corner, and he wants the ball. Sean Williams tried. No. He's got it back. Steps in the lane. Rejected by Kevin Williams. Out of bounds to Manuel.
What King wants to do the next trip down is set up the half-court offense and get it to Robinson. They haven't done that about 4 or 5 times down now.
Nice power move, but it's a great block. Great block.
A quick jumper against a quick jumper on that play. There's a lob outside. Jameer Jackson's got a problem going after it. King beats him to it. Emmett Lynch comes up. Kevin Williams is bumped. And the quickness of King got that one.
I thought Lynch was going to throw it up for Williams to bring it down.
Well, he did a nice job. Emmett Lynch did a good job of controlling the play. And give the big guy credit. He was hustling down.
Fred Lee of the Rams on the foul. Marcus Liberty inbounds. He wants a shot. He missed it. Out of bounds to King. Liberty had about a 10-footer along the baseline. King stays with their starting lineup. They've only played 6 players in this whole tournament. 6:30 to go in the game. There's the score. King looking to add to that lead. There's that high-low post. And this time Manuel's got it. They got the ball down ahead to Curtis Stuckey. He's going to go all the way and dunk.
That might give Peoria Manuel a needed lift. Their fans are going crazy.
At 5:11, a return slam. It's a 9-point game. And now it's Manuel with some momentum. Glenn Washington hawks the ball. Under 6 minutes left. Lavertus Robinson missed. Ball loose. Good play by Emmett Lynch to grab it for King, and he's fouled.
I think it's interesting. The last couple times down that King really needs a hoop, and you see who they're going to? Lavertus Robinson. He just hasn't cashed in.
Foul is on Glenn Washington of the Rams.
Lavertus didn't follow through very well on that shot. There's the reach in and the foul.
So Emmett Lynch, a 64% foul shooter, will go to the line, as there's a little more concern there on the King bench. That's their first point of the fourth quarter.
Emmett Lynch is kind of a player that you don't really hear about too much, but in his own steady way, he's done a nice job for him yesterday, today, during the Supers.
He had 6 assists yesterday to lead them in that department. He makes 2 important free throws, gives King an 11-point lead back with 5:48 to play.
See, a player like that, the coaches call a role player. He knows what his role is, doesn't try to do anything out of that role.
Stuckey's on the right. He's 32. And he lets fly. Yes! It counts, and a foul on Liberty. Curtis Stuckey smacked it home, and Liberty fouled him, and the Rams are within 9.
Jameer Jackson's getting the Peoria players together at the free throw line. And, you know, we talked about thinking you could come back. I've got a feeling now that the Peoria players think they could come back and win this game.
Reggie King came over to have a word with the Jaguars, and Curtis Stuckey has had a game today. He missed the free throw. A 9-point Jaguar lead, and here they come. What a transition. Weatherall flying in his foul. I think it was Lynch.
That's Emmett Lynch again. Yeah, we just were talking about him.
Got a pair, line them up.
Yesterday against Evanston, King let the Wildcats back in the ballgame at the free throw line down the stretch, and they kept trying to foul. And today, let's see what happens. Lynch buried his last 2.
We just saw Sonny Cox start telling his players, I believe, just settle down a little bit. Our opponent's the clock now. Let's let the clock run down and take our time on offense.
Lynch missed it. It was Sean Williams' 3rd foul.
I think what Coach Cox would like is for them to spread the floor a little bit and get going to their power players like they were before, because Peoria still can't stop the power inside.
It's a 10-point game with 5.5 to go as the Rams try to cut it here to 8. Jackson shoots. Yes.
That's your leader.
Jameer Jackson makes it up 8-point King lead. There's still 5:10 to go. A lot of basketball left to be played in this one. Out on the court, Lynch goes by his man all the way in for the layup. Emmett Lynch with a nice play.
Emmett Lynch is making a name for himself in this game.
Under 5 minutes now, and it's a 10-point King lead again. Manuel came back from almost dead to within 8, and now 10. But the Rams must make them all. Glenn Washington rattled out. Shun Williams for 2.
Good follow. Very good follow.
4:35 left. The offensive rebound so important. Look at Lynch handle the ball. The King guards have improved throughout this season. There was talk early in the year their guards weren't really good, but look at this. Dish off to Liberty. My.
That's your leader, Reggie King. Penetrating. They stop him. He dishes it off with an easy shot.
12 for Liberty. 10-point King lead. Clock moves toward the 4-minute mark. Shun Williams forced it in traffic, and a foul.
Positioning foul on number 42.
Frederick Lee.
Fred Lee picks up the personal, so the Rams don't connect.
No, I think a great substitution for Peoria Manual in this game was inserting Glenn Washington in the lineup to pressure Reggie King. I think that's been a big difference in getting Peoria back in this ball game.
You mentioned at the outset how would Lynn Collins, the sophomore, handle the pressure by King, and we found out the answer.
Here's Liberty knocking it in.
Well, sometimes it's not. It seems to me that Glenn Washington is just putting on more defensive pressure than Lynn Collins was. I don't know how badly Lynn played. His coach knows better than me. But I think what Coach wanted was more defensive pressure. And if Glenn's the better defensive player, that's why he's in there.
Washington at 5'8", a little quicker than the bigger Collins. He holds it on. Manuel have to kick almost each time now. There's Jackson. He missed. The battle is on the boards. Out of bounds to King.
I'll tell you, Peoria is showing why they haven't been out-rebounded all year. I don't know whether King is letting down or they're just going to the boards a little bit harder. But this quarter, they've been very impressive on both boards.
3:40 to play in the game. One of these teams go on to the championship game tonight. The other will play for the third-place title. Inside Lynch is blocked and fouled.
The clock is getting to be more and more of a factor.
2 fellas, 2, line up.
Manuel fell way behind and tried to come back valiantly. They're 12 down now. Look at Lynch.
I don't know really if Coach Cox wants this as much attacking the hoop as Emmett's doing, although he's playing so well the last few minutes. I think he just feels that he can do nothing wrong. 9
in the game for Emmett Lynch. And drilled it.
A little body English help there.
Benny Parrott over there with Landon Cox. Getting closer to win number 31. There's the miss. Manuel rebounds.
They're still 13 down. They've got to start scoring some points.
Glenn Washington goes in, fires it up. No, it's tipped once, and Liberty's got an outlet all the way down to Weatherall. He dropped it. But Lavertus Robinson picked it up and got in. Missed. Got it back. And was fouled. And that is having a nose for the ball.
What a tough player. He went and got it, made a great move inside, and then, you know, some players would shoot the ball and start running back, assuming it's going in. Lavertus stayed with him.
Weatherall was thinking about the jam there and took his eye off the ball, but Robinson did not.
Is that between the legs?
Yes. He does it so quickly, it's hard to notice sometimes.
He has 23 in the game, which is his season's average.
Is he going to be a guard at Tony Yates?
I'd play him at guard. I'd play him at or off forward. Let him bring the ball down.
All big people want to be guards, and guards want to be big people. If you're a coach, you find that out very early in your coaching career.
It's King by 14 again now, and they've been able to pull back away from Manuel's challenge. 3:11 to go. The Rams had clawed back to within 8. But King has the power game. Lynn Collins back in the game at the point. Stuckey lets it go outside. He missed it.
See, the difference in the last minute or so is that King is playing much better half-court defense. You know, before, the ball was going inside for easy baskets. Now Peoria has to take those outside shots.
Look how smooth Marcus Liberty is.
You know, Liberty's better when he's running. When he gets that pass on the run, he's in the flow then, and he really just smooths it in.
Nice little rhythm jump shot inside. Frederick Lee got free and got fouled. Nice play.
Great bounce pass. Great bounce pass to the shooter.
Best pass in basketball, and he just threaded the needle with the bounce pass.
This should be a great replay because you're going to see an excellent pass. Just threaded the needle. He went after it strong, and there's the foul.
Now he calls timeout with 2:34 left to go in the game, and the Jaguars in the lead. One of your network sponsors is ME4 Romanov. We'll move on to the championship game. Jameer Jackson missed a shot. Oh, a nice steal by Shun Williams. He got it up and over Marcus Liberty. Quick hands got that one. 10 for Shun Williams in the game. 1:35 left. King has played an awesome game today.
Oh, that's you sound like my kids. That's an overworked word up where I live, but I think you're right. Awesome is a good word to describe it.
Marcus Liberty put an exclamation point on it. 1:18 left. On the right side, Curtis Stuckey with his jump shot. And
Great,
he can do it.
Great teams make the game of basketball look easy, and I think that's what, for the most part, King has done that in this game.
Reggie King double team as the ball slapped out of his hands and fouled by Lynn Collins. Well, in the bottom bracket, it'll be Rich Central and Romeoville coming up next. And then this evening we'll be on with before the tip-off at 6 o'clock, the third place game, and then the game for the AA championship. Reggie King missed the free throw, saved inbounds to Weatherall. He missed the shot, and Manuel's got this one.
That was a great athletic move to just save the ball.
Stuckey's free and missed. Lynn Collins, the guard, rebounds and scores.
They haven't quit. They're just running out of time.
75-62. 40 seconds in the game. Watch Liberty. Travel. Got a little out of control.
Yeah, see, Marcus will do that once in a while. He gets a little carried away with himself, and he'll commit a turnover, take a bad shot. There it was the turnover.
Well, he gave Lee all these moves, and Lee just stayed right at home, so he ran him over.
Yeah, but Marcus is only a junior. He's got to work on something for next year, right?
Right.
And you give Manuel credit for their roaring comeback in this game. They made a fight out of it after being almost dead and buried.
I think you're exactly right. I think look, they're still fighting and battling. And I'll tell you, I was very impressed with the coaching from Manuel's side. He didn't sit down and allow things to happen, although, you know, it was a terrible first half for him. The King was playing so well. He made moves, substitutions. He wasn't afraid to try anything.
On the fly, Lavertus Robinson, a little showtime.
Well, that kind of caps off the type of day King has had.
27 for Robinson. Jameer Jackson tries to answer. Stuckey, or a check at Shun Williams. Nearly dunked a rebound. Weatherall's on the other end for a sliding layup with 5 seconds. And the game is over now, 2-1. And that is the end of the first semifinal game with Chicago King, an impressive 79-62 winner. There are the coaches and the teams congratulating each other. The Jaguars